should get started. Okay, please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could we have a moment of silence for our veterans? And for the invocation tonight, Reverend Rick.
Sure. Father, as we stand before you today, Father, we celebrated a day that, Father, we just pledged to our flag. And that flag means a lot to us, Father. A lot of people's blood and lives were lost that we enjoy the freedoms that we have today. We ask, Father, your blessing upon our nation, blessing upon this meeting today, upon our police officers to keep us safe, upon all our servicemen and women who protect this nation. And we ask, Father, your presence here in this meeting, that, Lord, whatever is said and done will be according to your will. We ask it in your name. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. Could I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Christine Adamczak.
Here.
Councilmember Linda Hammer. Here. Councilmember Michael Jasinski.
Here.
Councilmember Gerald Kaminsky. Councilmember Brian Nowak.
Present.
Councilmember Brian Pilarski.
Present.
Supervisor Diane Benchkowski.
Here. Okay, we have 7 present tonight. First item up is public comment period. This is an opportunity for residents to comment on items appearing on the agenda of the town board meeting tonight. The public comment period should last 15 minutes maximum. Each speaker may speak only once, and each speaker shall be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes speaking time. I'm going to go get the sheet. Oh, thank you. Is that the agenda one? Okay. Yes, it is. Thank you. First resident is Vicki Leader.
Just listening to the work session, I have a comment about the cars. I think it should be on the town's website. It's really where I find my information from the town. I myself have a son who would, in a heartbeat, buy one of those cars. The windshield could be fixed via insurance, so you jack up the price a little bit more because nobody else has to pay for that. I paid $4,000 for a whoopty. That's what we call my son's car. And one of these cars would be great. I could trust it a little more. And as far as somebody to look at the cars, there's so many people here during the day, make an appointment. Maybe somebody could hang out at night and let somebody drive it around the parking lot for a minute. Those cars would be gone. I know a lot of my people my age, their kids are going to college. I can't afford to buy my kid a car. He works part-time, going to school. I know $5,000. I don't think $5,000 is a bad price for a car. So that's just one thing. I have one more thing to say. Sanitation, big cost. What do they work a day, like 5 hours, 6 hours?
Not the grass pickup. The grass.
Not for grass?
They pick up. They work 8 hours at times. Yeah, it takes them that long.
Is there a possibility to get a tote for grass where the kids aren't working?
No, they don't. We only have 2 totes. One is for recycling, and then one is for regular regular
Garbage.
So we don't have a tote for grass.
Is that a possibility?
I get your thought process. That's.
Do you hear
I
the
actually
gas?
like that idea of a separate colored tote for grass clippings, and then it could hook up to the back of the trucks to make the job
You're
less labor
eliminating
intensive.
that problem, number one. For as a taxpayer, I'd be willing to pay that. Because my grass is sitting there, I have MS, I don't have physical capability. But they wouldn't pick up my grass because it's too heavy. And I'm the one who took it to the curb. So it's a thought.
They are
Okay,
heavy.
thanks.
It's
Thank
much
you.
easier to buy a mulching blade. Saves a lot of back-breaking work. Buy a mulching blade for your lawnmower.
Okay. Next speaker, Don Filipski.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to address the comments about the $17. I worked for New York State in personnel for at least a year. I hired over 500 people in that year for group homes, nurses, LPNs. The problem of people no-showing and no-calling is not new to me. And that was probably 2 years ago. It was before COVID hit. So that's a problem across all segments. And New York State is a good job. Maybe the nurses don't make as much, but you're getting that benefit, you're getting that pension, all of those things. Those are the things when I started in New York State, those were the things I looked for, working for a stable company with a pension where I would get something at the end of my stay. I'm sure that's what most people who want a job with the town are also looking for. And at $17 an hour, okay, how much are your starting workers making? Because that is going to cause a huge rift amongst other people, other departments, and I certainly wouldn't want to see that happen either. I mean, I get it. Picking up grass is a crappy job. It's the same kind of crappiness as working in a group home where you're getting waste, fighting with residents, and working crappy hours. But that, at least back then, was paying 16-something an hour. I don't know what to tell you to do on this, but I think it's something you should all think about. And as far as the overtime, the state used to have a thing called mandatory overtime and voluntary overtime, and it was, voluntary was based on seniority top down, mandatory was based on seniority bottom up. And if nobody on that list said okay, you went to that list, and the top person, they were working, and then they go to the bottom of the list. Maybe that's something worth looking at if we don't already have that. And as far as employment with the town, I have looked on our town website. It is darn near impossible to find openings in this town. So possibly you might want to consider that. In addition, reaching out to your schools. When I worked in HR, I did job fairs. I went to different places, anywhere that would have me talk, get out to the schools, and put it out there. You got jobs with the rec center, you got jobs in the garbage area, sanitation, you got temporary jobs, I think, in highway, I'm not sure. All of these things, do you have somebody doing them? If not, maybe you should think about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that ends our first public comment period. And we'll move on to the consent agenda announcement. Tonight, we have a consent agenda as part of this meeting. If any council member wishes to remove an item for discussion, please tell me now, and I will remove the item from the consent agenda, and it will be added as a separate resolution item.
Supervisor, I'd
Yes.
like 2022-358 pulled for a separate vote.
2022, Madam Clerk, do you have that? Okay. Anybody else? Then I need a motion to approve the meeting agenda as presented. Councilmember Adamczak, seconded by Councilmember Pilarski. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
We have a resolution from the table. It is Resolution 2022-319. It is sponsored by Councilmember Nowak and seconded by Councilmember Kaminsky. The town wishes to dispose of a number of surplus motor vehicles that are no longer needed for town use. Resolution 2022-29 authorized the auction of listed vehicles from the following two bidders offered the highest amounts per submitted bids. The board approves the submitted bids for the certain town vehicles identified on the attached list.
On the question, I'd like to just make a couple comments about this resolution. First of all, I think that it should have been advertised to our residents on our social media and our website to have more people bid on these vehicles to get the best value. These are assets that bring in revenue, so for me, it's important that we get the most bids possible and send these, re-bid it out to the, Niagara Frontier Dealers Association, because when I found out that these bids or notices only went to 4 Erie County dealers and 1 in Niagara Falls, and the rest, I mean, there's one in New Jersey, 1 in New York City, or 2 in New York, near New York City, and east of Syracuse, 1 in east of Rochester. I don't think that those were good ways to get the proper bids on these vehicles and get our bang for our buck on these vehicles. So I am encouraging the board to, let's send this out again for bid. So see that we're getting the best price possible.
Yeah, on the question, the prices we received on this particular process, working through contacts in the New York State marketplace and given those dozen contacts an opportunity to bid, got us a higher price compared to what we did through Auctions International previously. Is this the only process we should do? Is it the perfect process? No, it is an improvement. I'm personally open to trying something different in the future. I don't know how the other board members feel about trying something different with these particular vehicles right now. I'm leaning yes on this, but I'm open to persuasion if anybody else wants to speak to the item.
Well, Brian, I agree with you. I've dug into this. I've been doing this for quite a few years, actually longer than you've been around. I know what the market is, and these are all good prices. As far as anybody who thinks we're going to get $12,000, $14,000, or $18,000 for these cars needs to seriously talk to somebody, and it's not going to happen. These things, I defy anybody to go stick their nose in these cars. Sit in one of them for 10 minutes, see what some of them smell like. And like I said, I think it was a young lady that mentioned about buying one of them for her kids. My granddaughter's looking for a car right now. I would not put her behind the wheel of any one of them, and I will explain to everybody why I won't. Because in most cases, the central garage only has the ability to do the repairs that they are aware of by the people who drive them. In most cases, some of those, to exaggerate, the wheels could be falling off them. Nobody will write anything down. They won't say anything's wrong with them. I've seen them with the trunks full of garbage, the back seats full of garbage. Actually, I remember one there was number 100. It wound up at the records department. Nobody would drive it because it stunk so bad. These are not the kind of vehicles you find on a used car lot. And I'll tell you, we put these out to the public. I still want to know who's going to take care of all the people that want to look at them. Or we'll have people roaming all over the town campus. As far as I'm concerned, I think these are more than adequate and fair prices, even by auction results, and that's not only from Auctions International.
I think we should let the taxpayers consider them, put them up online and let them bid on them.
Or have more dealers bid on it. We only had 1 dealer bid on all of them except for 1, and 1 resident that somehow found out about it. That's my argument is, wouldn't you just want to put it out there again to more people and see what we can get for these? These are our assets. And I'll tell you, go drive by Central Garage. Those Ford Focuses are in excellent condition. It's the Fusions, yes, I agree, need a lot of work. And those are good prices for that. I mean, I wouldn't mind amending this and approving the Ford Fusions and then putting the Ford Focuses back out to bid. Anybody else? Any question? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Could I have a roll call vote, please? Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Adamczak?
No.
Councilmember Hammer? I'm sorry,
Are we voting on an amendment?
No, just
No.
the actual resolution.
Okay.
Councilmember Hammer was a no. Councilmember Jazinski?
No.
Councilmember Kaminsky? Yes. Councilmember Nowak?
No.
Councilmember Pilarski?
No.
Supervisor Benchkowski?
No. Yeah, so the motion is not carried through. Is that what you wanted to vote? Okay.
We have a consent agenda. I have a motion by Supervisor Benchkowski, second by Councilmember Pilarski, to approve all items on the consent agenda, including the meeting minutes of May 24th, 2022, and resolution items 2022-342 through 365. I will recognize that 358 was pulled and will be taken as a separate resolution item. I need a roll call vote to approve the consent agenda. Councilmember Adamsack?
Yes.
Councilmember Hammer? Councilmember Jazinski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaminsky? Councilmember Nowak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pilarski?
Yes.
Supervisor Benchkowski?
Yes.
Resolution 2022-358 is sponsored by Supervisor Benchkowski, seconded by Councilmember Hammer. Today's challenging labor market has made it difficult for the town of Cheektowaga to fill certain positions and retain individuals in those positions. The town of Cheektowaga has resolved to modify the hourly rate of certain positions. The current and future part-time seasonal laborers in the Sanitation Department and Parks Division of the Facilities Department will now earn an hourly rate of $17 per hour effective June 6, 2022.
Anybody on the question? All in favor?
Yes.
I'm sorry, was that, yes? Anybody opposed? Motion carried.
That completes our resolution items. As far as communications, we did have departmental communications, the Traffic Safety Commission meeting minutes of May 17th, and the supervisor's statement of funds was received for January 2022. For general communications, we received 2 notices of claim.
Okay, we'll move on to supervisor's comments. I do have one notice that the next meeting will not be on Tuesday. It's primary day, so we always move our meeting to the Wednesday after. So it will be on, was it the 29th? Wednesday, the 29th, the work session's at 5 o'clock, and the meeting is at 7 o'clock. So please make a note of it. So you're not looking for us that Tuesday. Council members?
Yeah, I've got a comment. I'd like about 5 minutes, if that's okay with the board. So this idea has come up both this year and a couple years back about this, when we're talking about taxation, that everybody should pay the same. And, you know, me being the curious person that I am, I took a look through the assessment rolls, old budgets, tax bills, and try to get a sense of what that looks like in real life, what the dollar and cents impact of that is. And I think a good place to start was the trash tax. So there's 29,245 households in the consolidated garbage district, which if we were gonna go get the bins for grass pickup, we need to buy nearly 30,000 of them. But the budget for the sanitation department, the trucks, the labor, all the things we have to do is about $9 million a year. You divide the households from that. The same fee, if we did a flat fee, because that idea has come up too, that garbage taxes should just be a flat fee, it would cost $308.94 per household. So I want to encourage everybody in the audience, everybody listening at home, to pull up your tax bill and go down to general garbage or consolidated garbage district and see if you're paying more or less than $308.94. And I can guarantee that most of you are paying less than that. More than 80% of people are paying less than that. Only 12% of residents in town, or 12% of property owners, 12% of parcels, are paying more than that. And you start extending this idea out to other lines on the tax bill, like the town tax. So if you got a home that's worth around $186,000, you're probably paying somewhere around $1,200 a year on the town tax line alone. If we did a flat fee for the town taxes, as if everybody paid the same dollars and cents in town taxes, you'd be looking at about $1,224. So again, 80% of people or so are going to be paying more in town taxes, but over 28,000 properties if we all paid the same. And I extend this out to the highway tax, which would be somewhere around $68. Over 24,000 property owners in town, 24,000 parcels, would pay more, the majority of people in the town. Same thing with the lighting tax. We have a district that's $2.3 million right now. There's 29,599 households. More than 85% of town residents, property owners, parcels, would pay more in general lighting taxes if everybody paid the same, if it was a flat fee. So you may be wondering, what about fire districts? If you live in Bellevue and you pay less than $338, a flat fee would be a bad idea for you. In Southline, $288.69. And in Ucrest, it would be $275.14 per person. And in the Forks Fire District, if you have a property that's assessed less than $444,000, a flat fee where everybody pays the same would mean that you would be paying more for fire protection. You can go to the fire hydrant districts, the sewer taxes, drainage districts, your county tax bill, library taxes. The same pattern emerges where if you've got a home worth $145,000, $150,000, $160,000, if we all paid the same amount of money, the same flat fee, the smaller property you have, the less valuable property you have, you pay more in taxes. The larger buildings, the larger plots of land with bigger structures, they would get tax cuts. And let's go to the big one, the school taxes. So if everybody pays the same, do we get rid of STAR? And that brings up the question of the other exemptions that we have. If everybody paid the same, do the veterans exemptions go away? Like, what do we do here? And if you're in the central district, you can pay over $3,200 on your school tax bills if everybody paid the same. And there's over 8,000 parcels in that district here in town. It's like paying taxes on a $220,000 home. And look at your tax bill. Were you assessed at $220,000 for or less this year? Cleve Hill would be a $2,800 bill. All the other, Maryville would be $3,300, by the way. And all the other districts are going to pay $3,000 or more for their school taxes if we just said, this is the amount of money we need, and we'll make sure everybody pays the same. And that doesn't even get into the village taxes. So you wonder, why would 80% of people, 75% of people, if we did flat fees or everybody paying the same in these various tax lines, why would they all pay more? It's because we've got a parcel in the Galleria Mall that pays over $210,000 in trash taxes. There's a large retailer in town, they pay $75,000 in town taxes. They pay that same parcel pays $8,200 in sewer taxes. There's a grocery store, they pay $17,000 in their trash tax, $40,000 for their county tax, $3,400 for the libraries. Because they pay $3,400 in their library tax, being such a large property, it means we all pay less. And why should we all pay the same? All of our properties are different. We have a flat tax assessed at the county, a flat tax for the town, a flat tax for highway, based on the specifics and in the differences in our properties. To say that every single person should pay the same dollar amount would go from the flat tax that we have right now to create a regressive system that would take more money from people who don't have enough to pay their bills and give breaks to people who don't need it. So this idea that comes up, well, why don't we just do a flat rate? Why don't we just do the same? It would have disastrous consequences. Now, if we're talking about changes to the trash district, there are things that we can do. I don't think going to a flat rate is a good idea. It would hurt well over 80% of taxpayers, property owners, parcel owners in this town. Maybe we talk about bins, maybe we talk about something else, but the flat fee isn't the fix. And if we go to flat fees, it's bad for a lot of people.
Thank you, Councilmember Noack. When you mentioned the 29,000 households, does that include like the doubles and fourplexes? Did you?
That's the number of parcels, which we get into the question of bins in that. That's a different debate than a flat fee.
Yeah.
And that's worth discussing, and that's done in some places.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I mean, some of it makes sense, but majority of what you said is a hypothetical, a what if. But I definitely think we do need to entertain the conversation about taxation, period. Yes, but it's all hypotheticals. What if? What if? Let's button it down. You know, we need to control our town budget. That's probably the biggest thing that we need to control is our spending.
Anybody else?
Just want to wish happy Flag Day, happy 247th birthday to the United States Army. And in addition to, we voted down the resolution for the vehicles. I just hope somebody will give Captain Roll a detailed plan
Yeah,
and
I
what's
worked with
expected, where to look. I mean, he tried. He did better than what Auction International did. We weren't happy with it, so let's not set him up for failure, and let's tell him exactly what we want, and if it comes back lower, that's not on him, that's on us.
Right, right. I agree. And I'll work with him because I have been working with him on this. And I do want to thank my council members that voted no on this resolution to give us one more chance just to get it out there more. So thank you for that, and we'll see. I'll work with him on it. Public comment period. This is an opportunity for residents to comment on matters involving Cheektowaga. The public comment period should last 15 minutes maximum. Each speaker may speak only once, and each speaker shall be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes speaking time. Thank you, Sergeant Wonnet. First speaker is Dave User. Dave?
All right, the first thing was on the car deal. Come on, those cars are 8, 10, 12 years old. They're gonna have nicks and scratches. I got a 16 out there that's got nicks, scratches, and dents, so don't tell me about nicks and scratches. Okay, and the other thing that lady brought up about the garbage, we don't have Packer trucks for that stuff with lifts on the back. And did you ever see those Packer trucks out in your street? You never see them maggots crawling around, because when they compact, all the juices come out? You know that's over the whole country? Every sanitation place, that's what happens. And you'll see that when they do it in front of your house and they compact it. And the maggots are all crawling around. And who comes to eat them? The rats. God only knows we got enough of them in this town.
Yeah.
So,
Dave, can I tell you something? I did a jackpot with sanitation, and we picked up a rug. Let me tell you the size of the rat that came out between my feet.
well,
Yeah, I know all about it.
so this is a question I had, because I was looking online, and it says here, Verizon Wireless is proposing to construct and operate a new wireless telecommunication facility, the project, near 2300 Clinton Street, on property owned by the town of Cheektowaga parcel, and it gives you a SBL number. This application includes, on behalf of Verizon Wireless, request special permit and establish a new telecommunications facility. This application includes a required zoning approval, 75-foot monopole plus 4-foot lightning rod and telecommunication equipment, and 80 by 80 fence compound associated with improvement. Now it says near property. Is anybody aware of this?
Yeah, that's been brought up previously. It's a piece
don't
of
remember this
property
here.
right between where Forks Lumber was and the power line.
Yeah,
Dave.
okay, so I already figured some of that out. But that was never brought up here, was it? I don't remember, and
Yes.
everybody.
Year and a half ago.
Was it really?
That's
And
when
it's
you're the
just- It's just
OTV.
coming up now?
I think it's
Near the
currently in
OTV?
front of planning, or is gone in front of planning. It's still moving through the process to where it hasn't come again in front of the town
Okay,
board.
because that's right near where I keep saying we own all that property for rails to
Rails to
trails
trails.
sooner or later, even though the throughway's in between there, but we own that property. And I was just wondering if is it on our property? Is it near our property? Or this says near our property. Is it on town property?
I'm not 100% sure. I can look it up and let you know tomorrow, Dave.
All right, thanks, Jerry.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Dave. Next is Reverend Rick.
Very disrespectful. We just had our last Duca meeting, and from now on, we're gonna be back at the school starting September 1st. Hopefully, we could build our association back up, and I guess there's only one other association that's actually running now. And these, we used to call them taxpayers associations, were very important. The people come out to find out exactly what's going on in the town, and then we always brought stuff to you guys, and you guys usually came to the meetings. And sometimes you got beat up, sometimes you didn't. But I just want to thank you guys. I do want to thank one person on this board. He did a really good job with the memorial service and War of 1812 service. Mr. Pilarski did a really good job on that. That we honor our veterans and honor the people who died for our nation. And that War of 1812 ceremony wasn't the best of days, and the microphone broke, but you know what? It was great to be there. It was an honor to be there. So I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you, Rev. I get one good comment and 20 bad ones he comes at me with.
Nick Bresniak.
My name is Nick Bresniak.
I talked to numerous residents, and one thing we'd like is to be able to have a meeting where people could ask questions and actually get answered on the spot. And if you can't get to them, you can get to them at a later date. But if we have it monitored and let people ask the questions. Number two, everybody on this board is on committees. And even though I probably won't get it, I'd like to see the attendance sheets for the last couple of years on all these committees to see exactly how many times you people missed your committees. I'm sure a lot of them have been missed. Number three, I'm currently on the Ethics Board Committee, and my appointment is up August 1st. And I made every meeting, and
Nick,
from day one,
Nick, you're
it started-
supposed to be talking to us here.
it started going downhill for me when I started questioning different things as far as outside employment in Cheektowaga. And so I ruffled a lot of feathers. So I want everybody to watch on August 1st to see if I get reappointed, because I guarantee you I'm probably not going to. And last but not least, vote 2023. And like I said before, I'm running because somebody's sitting in my seat.
No, there's no campaigning right now.
I also
Nick,
had
I'm
this
sorry.
made up and that. I just wanted to see if it fit on one of those placards. Can I put it over your name, Linda? Thank you.
You're out of order, Nick, sorry. We don't allow the campaigning at the board meeting. Don Filipski?
Mr. Nowak, I found your figures very interesting, and like Diane had said, did they include doubles, triples, and apartments? And when you also had those figures, were the businesses excluded or included?
The businesses are included in the parcel, so, you know, it's...
They were paying a flat fee as well.
Right, it would just be every single parcel in the district. And I would concede that if we're going to do something different, we would have to look at doubles versus singles. I just put it as a flat fee per parcel. And, I mean, that's not the best system to do it. And maybe there's other ways to do this, and maybe it's worth starting to explore that, you know?
I think it is worth starting to explore that. As far as my personal self, there are two doubles at the end of my street. Their assessed value was slightly more than mine by like $10,000. I couldn't tell what their garbage tax was, but if they're a double, it makes sense to me that they'd pay twice as much in garbage and maybe twice as much as something else. Just because their assessed value is this $10,000 difference, how much is that really making up for whatever? And one of those doubles is owned by somebody who doesn't even live in it. They rent both sides out and are collecting all the rent. So sometimes that's not fair to the residents either. That's all.
Good point. Thank you, Don. Okay, we're done with our public comment period. We do have to go into executive session with no action to follow, so we won't be coming back to adjourn. We'll adjourn immediately after the executive session. So I'm making a motion to go into executive session for the possible, discuss the possible sale of real property and the contractual history of a particular company. Could I get a second, please? Councilmember Kaminsky, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried, and we will adjourn immediately after. Thank you.